Well, yeah, we got a big sports day between my fantasy sports company and the golf company coming up next. So, if you hate sports, this is your time to get out of here.
I love sports.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jared Battiste, and I'm the founder of Fantasy Plus. The American fantasy sports market is massive, with roughly 75 million users. Yet many are often excluded from traditional apps due to league size constraints. And that's where Fantasy Plus steps in. So although fantasy sports is a lifelong passion of mine, this is a business first. And we have a clear path to profitability, but the competition is fierce and we could use your help. So, traditional fantasy football leagues were designed for 8 to 12 users with exclusive player drafts, meaning if Bob selects Jahmyr Gibbs to be on his team, then Rupert cannot take him, which is his favorite hometown Lions team.
I'll take Sing.
But yeah, this limits the amount of people who can play in a league because there are only so many players in the NFL. When I landed my first analyst job, I hit this very wall. It was my first week on the job, and I was a little shy, hadn't quite assimilated with my coworkers yet, but I heard some of them talking about the fantasy league, and I was super excited to go over and kind of break the ice, which I did. And then ultimately, I asked to join the league, and they said, "Sorry, Jared, the league is full." I was devastated. I almost quit. Not really. But to not be able to be in the fantasy league was terrible. And for the rest of the football season, every week I'd go in and listen to them talk about their teams and who won. And, I really was, in a lot of ways, excluded from the culture in the office. And this is a problem that a lot of people experience. For the last 2 years, we've been talking to users, and almost every single one has either been excluded from a league themselves or have had to exclude a friend or a family member. And just last week, we were talking to a sports business club at my alma mater, Florida State, and they said this is the perfect solution they've been looking for. For the last 2 years, they've had the issue of their fantasy league being not so much a league for the club, but for a league of 10 guys who happen to be in the club. So we're super excited to have just gotten into the App Store and are excited to get our solution out there, which offers a scalable and inclusive fantasy experience that's perfect for large groups, organizations, companies, fraternities, sports clubs, really any social network of any size. So let's play a little bit. The first thing you do on Fantasy Plus is you build a team. I'm not sure how well you guys can see, but is there a quarterback that catches anybody's attention?
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, all right. How about a running back? Gibbs is available, Rupert?
Yeah,
Good pick. And a wide receiver? All right, looks like we're having trouble seeing. St. Brown, we'll go all Lions. Okay, I went with Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey, and CeeDee Lamb, so a little different but respectable picks. One of the cool things about our app is you can pick whoever you want. All the players are available to anybody, and it's also very easy to play compared to other fantasy leagues, which is a nice benefit for some of these groups or companies where not all of the participants are going to be fantasy veterans like myself. The next thing you can do on our game is each week you can make 5 predictions on whether players will score more or less than their fantasy point projection. And we'll pause for a minute here to talk about our business model. Our mission as a company is to create the most fun fantasy games possible. And if we're successful in this, we hope users will follow. And once users are on the platform, there are a handful of different revenue strategies we can pursue, like subscriptions, membership, or transaction fees, or advertising. However, the one that we're most interested in and has the biggest revenue opportunity is a product called daily fantasy sports. So if you shift your attention back to the screen, this more or less picks game can easily be transitioned into a daily fantasy product. And I don't have time to go over any of the legalese or the semantics, I would call it, about daily fantasy sports, but it's very similar to sports betting. So if you would be able to place money behind your picks, and if your picks are correct, you would win money. But if your picks are incorrect, you will have just made a donation to Fantasy Plus. Currently, that more or less picks game is part of the social gaming ecosystem within our app. So on everybody's leaderboard, whether the national leaderboard, which tracks how you're doing against the whole app, or your specific group leaderboard, there's a fantasy division and a picks division. So you can see just who's getting, you can compete for who's getting the most picks right. And all right, I'm looking forward to sharing with you some ways I think our company could use help, and as well as answering some of your questions. And finally, I'll just say I've been coming to these 1 Million Cups for a little over a year now, primarily in this Orlando location, and it's been great networking, educational, but mostly inspiring to be able to listen to different entrepreneurs. And I know it's not super easy to always get here at 9 a.m. in the middle of a work week. So if everyone can just give yourself a pat on the back for making it out today. Great job, and thank you.
So we have a hand up already. Okay. I did have something as well, but
Oh, go ahead.
I'll let you.
No, it's okay.
You sure?
Age before beauty.
I'm not going to take advantage of your inexperience in youth. Yeah. So, not everyone in this room may be that familiar with fantasy sports.
Right.
And so I would have liked you to have started out with an explanation of what it is and the importance of it. And you didn't hit upon the market or anything like that either. So we don't know what impact your idea can potentially have. Okay? So usually start out with a story, and then this is the fantasy sport. You did start out with a story about people who can't join, right? But yeah, that's my input. Here you go.
Okay. Hey, Jared. This is a very interesting product. I do have a couple of quick comments and questions. First one is, how do you make it competitive? If everybody picks, you say, you have 20 people in the same league, how do you make it competitive if everybody picks the same exact pick on the team, right? How is that going to be competitive? And because that's the whole premises of a fantasy league. You have a limited number of resources, and how do you, excel with your picks every week, every day, and everything, right? And the second comment is, how do you make it more interactive with users? Because look, it's a very straightforward design, I think, that you have, which is great. But how do you make it more appealing to others that are already using other NFL fantasy leagues or basketball fantasy leagues already?
Thank you.
Well, for your first question, you have 11 different positions you could pick from. So between the 11, we're hoping to get good variation, as well as there's 18 weeks throughout an NFL season. So whatever 11 times 18 is, there would have to be, it's unlikely throughout that whole period someone's going to be tailed the entire time.
Right. But what I'm saying is, we have 30 people in this room, right? If all 30 of us pick the same exact, quarterback, same exact, wide receiver, same exact running back, same exact everybody, right? We would all win every week.
Well, you wouldn't have the same 11 lineups. And I'll tell you, it's a lot like a March Madness bracket. When you make a March Madness bracket, a lot of your friends make the same picks. And in some ways, it's a lot of fun that way. You go out to the bar, and it's like me and 4 of my buddies, we've all got Florida in the first game, but then in the second game, there's some variation. So it's just a different game. It's a different game style than traditional fantasy, but there are a lot of examples in different sports and different sports where this format is very fun and is still competitive.
Any other question? Here you go.
Sorry, your other question about it being more interactive. This is our MVP, but I do agree there's more things we can do to kind of add animations or spark a little more of a dopamine hit that makes it more of like a video game feel and a little more exciting for users.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to know more about your market, what your business model is, pricing. I think that was missing. And do you have both men and women's leagues?
Right now, we only have the NFL. As far as like the users, men and women are both welcome to play. My company does a lot of work. My day job does a lot of work with the LPGA, so that's a sport we'd like to go into in the future. But yeah, our market in America, there's 75 million fantasy sports players. It's well over $1 billion industry, and we're primarily targeting 18 to 35 males. And as far as our business model, year one is just about getting users. We've got no revenue plans for year one or the 2025 NFL season. And 2026 is when we'll turn on the revenue engines. And as I mentioned, there are a handful we can pursue, and it'll be a little dependent on how many users we're able to acquire this year. But at that time, we'll decide which one we want to use to ultimately do the function of a business, which is obviously to make money.
That raises an interesting question about sports betting and things like that. So there have been new regulations involved that have passed recently that have opened the markets up a little bit. Is that something that you're taking advantage of?
What state? Or are you talking about the federal prediction markets? Yeah, prediction markets are interesting. It's a higher level of regulation than fantasy sports is, and it doesn't, the types of products you can offer under the federal regulation is a little more rigid than what you can offer as a fantasy product. So we'd like to stay in the fantasy lane, but we're always open to exploring different, I guess, legal structures, you could call them, because the gaming environment is very dynamic. And last point on that is the new federal regulation is, I would say 50-50 on whether that's going to be an acceptable gaming model going forward. There are a lot of pending court cases on it.
So what is your marketing strategy? Because if I go online right now, when I put in Fantasy Plus, 2 things that come up are a music site and the NFL fantasy site, right? So how are you going to get people to your platform?
Yeah, we've got a couple. We're going to experiment and try to figure out what works, but our main one is what I would call our commissioner marketing. So I've got a little mini army of college kids working for me, and they're reaching out to different clubs, fraternities, different fan groups. Like if you go on the internet and look up Cleveland Brown fan groups, there's a list of 500 Cleveland Brown fan organizations that are all prospects for them. But they're working the phones kind of like a sales type job to get users. We're also doing a little bit of paid media spend on Reddit, and then organic content marketing, just talking about sports and stuff like that on different social channels. And then finally, we've got 2 influencers lined up this month to do some posts.
Okay, so here's something that I just thought of. I think you could tap into a very niche market, which is women's sports, such as the WNBA and the women's college sport. I think that's very underrated. And using your Fantasy Plus or F Plus type of a logo and slogan, I think that could be if you emphasize on that, because there's a lot of NFL leagues, there's a lot of NBA leagues. If you focus on that, and you could become that premier, fantasy association gaming experience for especially targeting the women, especially the younger generation, because everybody, 14 and up has a cell phone now, right? I think that would be something that you could target, just something for you to think about. I think that could be something that could help, put you into a different bracket itself.
Sure. Thank you.
I just want 10% whenever you.
I only ask 5. That brings up an interesting point, because the U.S. women's soccer generates more income and seats, butts and seats, than the men's do. So I like that idea. That's a good one. Anybody have any other questions?
Just a quick one. Do you belong to the trade association for fantasy sports?
I do. I was at their conference in Vegas this year. It was a great experience, and that's a great group.
Awesome.
I can introduce you to the woman that founded a women's fantasy league platform. She was on board
Okay.
of that organization.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'd love that.
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Fantasy Plus.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jamie Taylor. I'm an LPGA professional, and I'm also the founder of 10K Golf. 10K is played off of the 10,000 hours by Malcolm Gladwell. That was a theory he came up with, that it takes 10,000 hours to master a skill. So that's where 10K comes from. And I'm developing this app to break down barriers in golf, one woman at a time. So a little bit about me. I've been playing golf for over 30 years. I started at the age of 7 in Cleveland, Ohio. So that's why I said go Browns earlier, under my breath. Woohoo! And my journey through golf was, I started at 7, then I competed in my first tournament at the age of 9, and I won. And then I went on to start my high school golf team my junior year. And then I got a 4-year scholarship to play for Gannon University, a D2 school in Erie, Pennsylvania. So to get from that path of playing at 7 to college golf was strictly trial and error. There were no clear, standardized ways of getting there. No one in my family had ever played junior golf, competed in golf. The golf pros that I worked with and worked for also were not really helpful, because junior golf wasn't really that big of a thing probably when they were younger. It was probably in the 80s and 90s where it became more of a thing. And so just had to figure things out. And then to add to that, as I got more competitive, I became the only person of color and usually the only girl. So that was another interesting barrier that I experienced. So when I became an LPGA professional, and I've been teaching and working in the industry for over 25 years, I noticed that as I managed 2 golf courses, that all of the students, adults, and youth that I work with were going through the same challenges, right? There was no clear standard path. And I know you're thinking, but Jamie, you're an LPGA professional. Why couldn't you be the person for that? Well, when you get certified as an LPGA or PGA professional, they don't teach you in the curriculum how to take a student from never having held a club to a competent golfer. Everybody has their own method and theories of how to get it done. So that's also why it's still a problem. So you ask, why did I want to choose women to target this product to? Well, through my lived experience, oftentimes women are introduced to the game through a male person in their life that they're close to. And so they're always looking for females to meet, and also there's usually a sink or swim introduction to golf, right? Like, let me take you on the golf course to Top Golf, give you a couple pointers and see if you figure it out. Most women are not comfortable with that. In fact, they get quite embarrassed when they're out there and they're not able to do the game competently. I just had a woman two days ago at a golf clinic tell me how traumatizing her first experience was, and that coming to this clinic was her first real golf lesson. So that's a lot of times why women are not comfortable with the game or learning the game on their own without lessons, and they're looking for that step-by-step instruction. Whereas men tend to come to me more looking for validity, like they want to know, like, hey, I watched this YouTube video, or my best golf buddy friend taught me a few tips. Can you just re-emphasize if this is good or bad, right? They're a little more confident in learning the game on their own and using the trial and error method. So that's one thing I've noticed. And then statistically, there's been a boost in women participation in golf over the last 10 years by 50%. So they are the second fastest growing market in golf. And so you have about a $20.5 billion TAM projected for 2027 in women golf. So that's why it's growing so vastly that I figured, hey, let me jump in that market. And then also women are reporting that they lack finding instruction that's accessible and fits their schedule. So typically, if you go to a golf clinic in the evenings, they start at 6 or 6:30, that's around dinner time, or maybe they're still at work, so they can't fit it in their schedule. And on the weekends, we pros, we don't like to give our weekends away, so we may do lessons in the morning, and we can only fit so many people in a morning's time. So it's really hard to get traditional golf lessons for women. And then finally, I'm targeting women ages 35 to 50 who make on average $100K annual income, because golf is a luxury, right? You still have to be able to afford the clubs, afford to go to the driving range, afford to go to the golf course. So these are the target people that I'm looking for. So here's the product I'm designing. To address these problems, I'm implementing an AI coach, which will help me deliver the content, but also make it easier for women when they have those questions they're too embarrassed to ask. They can go to the app and say, hey, what do I wear to my first golf lesson? Or what does a scramble format look like? So they can understand that. I'm creating a 6-month pathway, so there's a clear timeline of how you can go from A to Z, from never held a club before to getting a score, or maybe newer golfer to breaking 100. And also giving you some clear goals. So in 4 areas of golf you have to master. There's the technique, there's the knowledge of the game, rules and etiquette, there's the mental game, and then there's fitness. And those last 2, you never get in a golf lesson, because nobody has time to do all that in 45-minute lessons. So that's what my app will serve as a supplement to your private lessons or your group lessons. And then also, women are always looking for other women. So that gives them that community hub they can find on the app, meet other women. And they're also looking for female pros like me. So this is a way they can find pros, because I already have a directory online called Golf Pro Like Me that has a list of LPGA, PGA certified women, as well as people of color that they can look for, that I can add to the app. So here's my challenge. I have never started a tech company before, and I've never gone to a business with the intention to get investors and then plan for exit in 5 years. So definitely need some experience and help there. I'm not a techie person, although I have a great CTO who's in the audience, but I still need to understand how to build a tech company. I also need help with digital marketing and how to find my audience, because even though I know where they are, I don't know how to reach them through social media. And then, of course, the AI implementation. I'm still learning what are the best tools to use for AI to implement into my app. So I'm asking you all today that if you can help me find mentors in these areas, mentors who have built tech companies, have taken a company from idea to exit, have business development strategy, have AI implementation understanding, please send them my way. This is how you can get to me. You can email me here at contact@sports10k.com, or you can go to my website for more information about the app. Thank you all. I tried to get that as fast as I could.
All right. Ray, first question. All right.
Hey, congratulations with the deployment.
Thank you.
I have 2 questions, quick questions. The first one is, did you consider to provide some sort of dashboard on your software to provide some metrics in terms of development? I mean, I'm not very into the golf, but like the techniques, I see the progress tracking.
So, so when they go through these are the monthly goals, and then as they go through some of the exercises on the app, it does give you like how to measure your outcome. So if you try 8 times, how many out of 8 times do you do it successfully? It gives you that tracking, yes. Yeah.
Okay, got it. I mean, it could be some sort of data analytics dashboard. That's what I meant. But, okay. And the second one, did you consider to put a human in loop into your AI architecture? Because purely automated AI might be a little bit problematic, because they have some certain level of accuracy. Mm-hmm. So if you could put yourself as a human in loop, that would be really wonderful. It's just a question. Did you consider that?
Oh, 100%, yeah. So the content that I'm having AI disseminate is stuff that I've created or I've used scientifically backed models that I'm going to be using AI reference. So it wouldn't just be AI, just open with any random information, yeah.
Am I on? Oh, okay, sorry. Good morning. Great
morning.
presentation. My name is
you.
Ryan. My company is Avanti Advertising and Branding, so everything I'm going to say is going to be colored by that, just so you know. So I actually have a question before I give you my little two tidbits here. So obviously a popular app, because you've been doing this for 30 years, is Top Tracer for people that are trying to check and see how their performance is doing when they hit the driving range. Do you have any plans to do any integration with any of that, or any integration? I think it'd be harder for you to get into Top Golf or something like that, but it might be easier to do an integration, so that way whatever I'm training on my own time also gets pulled into the data that you're tracking. That's a question, I guess, to start with.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about collaborating with other apps out there. Once I get this MVP finished, but yes, that's something I'm thinking of doing.
Okay, and then so my second feedback, if you will, is I think you already know, marketing is something that you need to have in your future. So everything is pay to play. It's all going to come down to visibility. The more visibility you can get, yes, target audiences, all that matters. So you do need to find the right partner, but you have to get that visibility in order to actually get traction with people starting to use the app. So then you can use that social proof to say, we have X number of downloaded users that are using this on a regular basis, that will hopefully then open doors to some of those collaborations with integrations with other apps and or with other independent courses or clubs. So yeah, I would just be thinking about that, like, what is my budget, and trying to find a right partner.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. You had a question?
Yeah. I thought this was super cool. Something I do on the golf course all the time is, I hate to admit it, but I'll shank a ball to the right or something. And then a lot of times recently, I'll go to my phone on the Gemini app and ask the AI, why did I shank the ball? And it'll give me a lot of good tips. So I think there's definitely like a market for that if you can create a nice AI tool for coaching. And also there's a group called Profluence that's a big network of sports professionals, and there's a ton of people in there, investors and technical people who would be good prospects to talk about wanting to get involved with your company.
Okay, remind me that after so I can write that down.
Right. Oh, we have a question up here.
Hi, Jamie. How are you? I'm Patsy with Inside Credit Union. So I actually follow you on social media, and it's really nice to see you here today.
Yeah.
So I saw on your what you need help with marketing-wise, reaching a certain that capacity or that group of women that make $100,000 plus. So I saw where you had met recently Vivica Fox, the celebrity.
I did.
Yeah. So I think was that on a golf course and is this something that you spoke with her with? Because I'm in sales and I know that it's great to do marketing digitally, but it's also great to have ambassadors out there, people that are actually touching your product, that you're talking to, that you're talking about your product with. They're trying it out, and they're kind of your ambassador. So I think that was that kind of like.
Yeah, that event. I was invited to be on a board. But yes, the founder who invited Vivica Fox met me through golf, and so everybody knew that I was a golf professional. And to your point, I have close ties to the LPGA, which I don't know if you guys know is the headquarters is in Daytona Beach, Florida. I used to work there for 5 years, and so I have connections with the LPGA headquarters and working with the amateurs there. So yeah, I'm definitely making connections with women's groups currently. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Congrats.
Thank you.
Any other, question down here?
So you had mentioned that you had an interactive part of this app where women could communicate with each other, but you didn't bring that up in the presentation, did you?
It's an image, I believe, in the middle. It's kind of briefly. So this is this chat bot feature in the middle. It has the option to have groups discussion as well as direct discussion with your coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Awesome.
What's your handicap?
Well, when I was keeping a handicap, 7.2. I don't play as much as I have used to, though.
Do we have, yep,
Ask a follow-up question?
Yes.
sure.
So I won't stand up for this one, but a follow-up question that I have for you is, in your pricing model, because this might help you get it out to more people, is it free for coaches but paid for by members?
Correct.
Okay, all right, perfect. You're already ahead of me then.
Yeah. Look at that. Question up
okay.
here. The Sherpa.
Thank you. This is an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Prepared very well. You are the brand. You don't need all this advertisement.
Okay.
You should talk about yourself, okay, and build on that. Word of mouth is the best way to go.
Gotcha.
And you can achieve anything you want to, especially focus on girls and women.
Okay.
Plenty of them there. So I will help you out. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
That brings up a good point, that, and you brought it up in the beginning as well, like Serena, the groundbreakers, like Serena Williams and Tiger Woods and Lewis Hamilton and so forth. And so I know that they are all looking to help people like yourself to become successful in your sports-related endeavor. So yeah, I would definitely find someone who can get you in touch with them.
Anybody here? Anybody know any?
If I knew, I would.
They will come to you.
Okay.
That's what you do.
Yeah. How about your social media following? How large is it? And
My personal one, I have over 1,000, I think, but I've never really did it with the intention of growing it for that purpose. So now it's kind of something I'm focusing on more.
okay.
Yeah, but I do all golf stuff mainly. So
Understood.
like
Understood.
yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely something that you're going to want to build. Yeah.
Let me tell you guys, all of us are talking about apps and websites. There are literally 8 million apps out there.
Right.
Okay, you have to be standing out.
Yeah.
Not only that, when your job is to somebody get your app, push the button, and it should be there with 1.7 seconds. They should get it what the hell they want it, and they should move. Okay, it's not that easy.
Right.
Okay, now there are about 2 billion websites out there.
Right.
While we are talking, within 1 hour, there will be 27,000 new websites will be created. Everybody has a website. No, it's not that easy. That's the reason 95% fail. So I want you to understand what it takes to win. So you want to stand out. You have all the talent in the world. Word of mouth is the best and free. It's free.
That's true.
So let's go through that route. Thank you very much.
Yeah, 100%.
Great as always, Sean. One thing that I tell everybody who presents here is to remind you all that we're recording this and we put it up on YouTube. And the brilliant thing about 1 Million Cups is once it's up on YouTube, we'll let you know, and then you can review it.
Okay.
And you will need to watch it at least 10, if not 50 times.
Okay.
And take notes for every question that was asked, and take notes of every answer that was given, right? And then modify your presentation based on the feedback that you receive here. And then, once that's done and you feel comfortable with it, go to Claremont and give it there.
Yeah.
And do the same thing. And then go to Daytona and do the same thing. And go to Tampa and go to Eustis and Ocala, et cetera, right? Once you've done it 5 times, you're ready to get in front of,
Start making the money.
yeah.
I got you.
That's what I did for Burnout Game Ventures, and yeah, and it was very successful. So the other thing too is, if there's no other questions, I'll ask the primary one, which I neglected to ask Fantasy Plus, but I'll ask you, and I'll ask you again. What can we, as 1 Million Cups community, do to help you?
Like I said, I'm still looking for mentors in the space of just business development, taking the idea to exit, because that is the goal with this business. Also, I didn't mention I am raising funds, so I need to find pitch competitions and investors that are interested in the product. So anybody can introduce me or let me know how to find people in Orlando or Florida-based area, let me know.
So as a shameless plug, Orlandopreneur has a calendar. We call it our Badass event calendar. And it currently has over 200 events per month in there, including all the pitch competitions that we hear about.
Okay.
And they're not just local, but they're also virtual and national.
Okay.
So just FYI.
Well, I already RSVP'd for your upcoming ones.
Well, good. Okay. Thank you very much for 10K golf.
Thank you.
And so I wanted to ask you about the same thing. So, what can 1 Million Cups do to help Fantasy Plus?
Well, you could sign up and play on our app. It's called Fantasy Plus on the App Store. And the two other areas are we are looking for title sponsors in the app. So any type of company that could be looking to reach a highly targeted young male audience of sports fans, this could be a good fit for them. And the advertisement is free. We're just going to ask that in return, these sponsors give us a cross-sell opportunity with their base. And lastly, digital marketing. I have a finance background, and I'm learning on the fly with digital marketing, but I'm all ears for ideas there. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And so if there's nothing else to say, we'll finish a couple minutes early. Thank you. And I guess we'll see you all next week, and hopefully I'll see you all on the 18th. So enjoy your day.